Greetings, tubers. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Troy Devlin. I'm an integrative nutrition health coach. I specialize in weight loss. And today I thought I could answer a question I got in the chat the other day. Thought it was a great question. It's something that I get asked a lot. Probably people that are watching the video, maybe you might be interested in learning how to lose stubborn belly fat. That's what this video is going to be about. And so stay tuned and I'll try to give you some tips. We'll talk about some things that you probably might imagine would be a way of addressing belly fat, and then we'll talk about some high level stuff that you maybe have never even considered. I'll give you my number one tip on how to create six-pack abs for yourself if that's something that you're interested in, and you might be surprised on exactly how I would recommend you going about that. And it's pretty revolutionary. I've tried it myself, and I could show you. I have got some little six-pack abs going on. I'm working on them myself, but you have to understand that I went from being big and fat to being able to see my abs, and so I'll share with you how I did that, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to do it too. If you're interested in this kind of thing, what I ask is that you subscribe to my channel and boost me up by hitting that thumbs up button, hit the bell, let me get a comment, let me know what you think, and if you have a question, I'll be happy to do my best to answer it for you in a video. So today's question is from my good person by the name of DV. And DV says, Coach, I am on a strength training and have increased my protein intake, but have not getting any results on my belly. My weight has gone down, but remains of same size. I have quit all alcohol completely recently. And DV, I'm so happy to hear that you quit the alcohol, because many people, in my experience, find that when they cut that out, it's like, whew, it's like a whole new world. They start to feel better, look better, and that's what it's all about. That's what people are after, and some people are surprised how well cutting out alcohol goes for them. So if you're watching this and you haven't done it yet, I invite you to try it. Try it for 30 days and see what you think. Let me know what you think in the chat below. But DV, it sounds like you might be dealing with what we call stubborn belly fat. So you've increased your protein intake and you've been doing that resistance training, and it sounds like the scale is going in the right direction, but maybe your belly area is not where you want it to be yet, and that's okay. Many of us find that the belly fat tends to be the last sort of area of body fat that where the body sort of taps into as far as stores go. For example, many men will come to me and they'll have very nicely defined arms, right, where you can see that because of their strength training routine and because of their diet, the musculature in their arms is very visible, and their skin is thin there, and you can tell that they have what we call good definition or cuts. But these men will often be coming to me to find out how they can reduce their belly fat, because it seems like no matter what they do, the body just resists releasing the fat in that area. And so with that, here's what I'll say. Diet is super important. Many people find that when they reduce carbohydrates, okay, the body will tend to burn fat on the preferentially. So we have to make sure that we're not over consuming carbohydrates. But there are three, and we can call these, they're white. We can call them the white death. They're saboteurs when it comes to you creating inflammation in your body, when it comes to you holding water. And we want your body to be able to release, particularly the body fat. But when the body is holding on to things, you're not gonna be able to release those fat stores from your stomach area. The white death. There's three of them. Here they are. Number one, white sugar. Number two, salt. Number three, white flour. And where do you find these things oftentimes? In ultra processed foods. Got to make sure you're not consuming those UPFs, as they call them, the hyper palatable, ultra processed foods. Cut those out of your diet. Make sure you're not taking in too much sugar, salt, or even the white flour can sometimes create some inflammation in the body. And And guys, if you cut those out, oftentimes you find that resistant belly fat just starts to kind of shed. And sometimes we confuse fat for our tissue just holding more water because of the things that we're eating. So that's a diet related thing. Lower those carbs down, get rid of the UPFs, and see how that works for you. You mentioned you've already increased your protein intake, and it sounds like really you're on the right track. So let's talk about some higher level things. One of the first things that came to mind, DV, when you mentioned your belly fat, if you were in the office right now, I would ask you how you were sleeping, because anyone out there watching the video, what I want you to know is that if you're not getting enough sleep, it is going to be extremely difficult for you to lose your belly fat. Start sleeping more, start getting more sleep, more quality sleep, and you might be surprised. That's all you have to change for your belly fat to begin to just decrease on its own without making any changes. Oftentimes, I find if I'm getting more sleep, my body is just leaner overall. And that's because belly fat is closely tied to hormones, right? And our hormone health, without going down a whole rabbit hole, I'm not a doctor, but I am familiar with certain hormones such as cortisol. And if you're not getting enough sleep, cortisol, which is a stress hormone and which can be good, right? Cortisol can help your body in situations where you're faced with injury or illness. But chronically elevated cortisol as a result of sleep deprivation, which many of us are in a state of chronic sleep deprivation because of our jobs. And it's unfortunate, but it's going to throw off our blood sugar levels. We're going to be walking around with all of these, a very stressed out organism because we're not sleeping enough. Our cortisol levels are high, our blood sugar levels are high, and we're not going to be tapping into those fat reserves if our blood sugar is high. And the cortisol is going to prevent us from being able to be in that mode where the body feels at ease and able to release the fat stores. If the body feels like it's under attack, it's going to want to hoard everything. It's going to want to hold on to fluid. It's going to want to hold on to your precious fat stores that are around your abdomen right now. So think about mitigating stress, right? And one of the ways that we can do that, stress is good. Some stress is good, right? Like a workout, or like, mental stresses, like doing puzzles and stuff, and learning is a stress, and learning new things. And so stress is good, but chronically elevated stress without proper rest, obviously, is detrimental to losing that belly fat. Promise you. Get more sleep. Watch your waist decrease. Let me know what you think. Next, cold immersion. This one is a little bit woo-woo. I don't want to say that it's new age because it's been around forever. But with the advent of social media, and I'm just so happy to be here today on my channel's birthday, Monday, October 23rd. Happy birthday, Mindfully Fit. We've been on the air for 1 year, but I'm so thankful to be here because, I'm able to share this message. But let's say I wasn't able to share this message. Have you ever heard of a gentleman by the name of Wim Hof, right? If it wasn't for the internet, I never would have heard of him. I never would have been exposed to the other biohackers out there that were touting the benefits of cold immersion. To me, I would have just felt like, that's a little too intense. I don't really want to. No, I don't think that it's really for me, and I would have never tried it. But when I did try it, I noticed that my belly fat disappeared. A year ago, it's been a few years now. I've spent weeks in a cold environment with no heat. I stayed in a dry cabin out in the wilderness where I didn't have any heat, and I was living in freezing temperatures all day long, every day for a couple weeks. And I noticed that I became leaner than I ever have by doing absolutely nothing. I wasn't working out. I wasn't going to the gym. I wasn't exercising. other than doing, some light cross country skiing here and there. But there was no dedicated exercise program where I was killing myself, or I wasn't dieting. I was eating whatever I wanted, including, chocolate bars and bricks of cheese. And my body fat level was, it was in the single digits. I could see my abs very clearly. I had, that muscle definition where you can tell that you don't have a lot of extra fluid and fat and stuff underneath your skin, sort of obscuring your muscles. I was very defined, and I became very lean by doing nothing other than living in a cold environment. Now, I'm sure that your wife or your girlfriend is not going to appreciate the cold environment, and that's where cold immersion, as far as cold plunges, comes in. Get yourself a big bucket, all right? If you care to explore this is not for everybody. You don't have to do this, but you will be surprised what exposing your body to cold every single day will do for your physique. I was blown away, and I don't do it for physique reasons. Believe it or not, I do it for my own mental health. I have some mental health struggles that can sometimes make it hard for me to just participate in society. It's another one of the reasons why I'm so thankful for this platform, because I'm a recluse, and it makes it possible for me to reach people and to connect. And so again, I'm just so thankful to be here and be able to do that on my channel's birthday today, 1 year. But yeah, take care of your mental health, reduce inflammation, watch that belly fat disappear. All right, so cold immersion, think about it, and I'll post more stuff on cold immersion in time to come. And I also have some videos already posted where I show you what my bucket looks like. And you could just do cold showers. The water doesn't have to be ice cold. Apparently, I've heard that as warm as 59 degrees. If you get in a shower, the water that comes out of the shower when it's cold coming out of the ground is, in the Northeast, it's probably 50 something degrees right now. So it's probably right in the sweet spot. Experiment with that. Let me know what you think. Finally, breath work. Specifically the out breath, okay? You really want to make sure that you're not hyperventilating. You want to make sure that you're not mouth breathing, right? How many of us mouth breathe for whatever reason? I have some allergies and stuff, and the past couple of years we used to have to wear a mask all day at work. And if you find yourself in the habit of mouth breathing, it might not be so good for your health, and it can probably create a situation where you're hyperventilating, you're breathing in too much. And I would invite you to breathe through your nose, really focus on the out breath. Have you ever heard of meditation? There's a specific type of meditation called a breath meditation, which I find is a really good entry point to, it's a mindfulness practice, but the reason that it helps is because the reason it helps specifically with belly fat, believe it or not, is because breath work, focusing on the breath, bringing your directed attention from maybe your thoughts. Let's say you're worried about something. You're thinking about something that might happen in the future, or you're worried about something that's happening in the past, or you're dealing with rumination, which is just unhelpful, repetitive thinking. And I'm really preaching to the choir here when I talk about this. Try a breath meditation. It can help to get you out of that fight or flight mode that we can be in sometimes, where our stress levels are really high. And remember the connection between stress and belly fat, right? So breath work, focusing on the breath, breathing through the nose, focusing on that out breath, maybe slowing it down a little bit, extending the exhale, perhaps engaging in a meditation where we take our focus off of our problems and just onto our breath. We breathe in, we think to ourselves, breath. We breathe out, we just think to ourselves, breath. And that can bring us out of that fight or flight state where our stress hormones are elevated and where our body fat is going to be held onto, particularly around our stomach, right? We bring ourselves down out of that state into more of a rest and digest and relaxed, alert state. That is where we lose body fat, guys. So oftentimes I'll have people come to me who are they're very type A, high performing type people. And they're struggling. And the reason why they're struggling is not because they're not trying hard enough. It's because they are being way too hard on themselves to the point where their stress level is through the roof. They already have a very stressful job. They have a family, right? They run side businesses. They're very active socially. They have so much going on. And on top of that, they are like punishing themselves in the gym, and their diet is very strict and they stress over it. And in order to lose belly fat, remember, you want to get yourself out of the red and into the green. So sometimes it just takes a more moderate, mindful approach. It's almost like do less to get more. And so there's tricks to it, guys. And we want to think about it from a standpoint of what's going on hormonally, what's going on with inflammation, what's going on with my diet. Okay, now finally, guys, there's one last tip, because I haven't talked about the resistance aspect. Notice I haven't said anything about, various exercises you can do, and there is a lot there. There's a when it comes to training your abs, you could twist your torso, you could crunch, bringing your upper body towards your legs, or you could bring your legs up towards your upper body. So there's a lot of different exercises, and I'm not going to talk about any specifically, or maybe I will. Guys, if you want a six-pack, all right, I promised you I would tell you the trick to getting a six-pack. If you want to get a six-pack, all that other stuff, right? If all that other stuff is kind of lining up, but your abs aren't where you want them to be, it might be because your abdominal musculature underneath your skin is not defined enough. So here's what I want you to do. In addition to whatever else you are doing, let's say if you go to the gym and you want to get your abs better, a really good way to do that is to go to the gym and just do some abs to warm up. Do like 5 minutes of abs for your warm up every single day, and your abs will end up being pretty incredible. But let's say you don't go to the gym. I can still get you six-pack abs, and here's how you do it. I want you to perform 50, bare minimum, 50 crunches as fast as you can every single night before you go to bed. When you wake up in the morning, the very first thing I want you to do as soon as your feet hit the floor when you get out of that bed is I want your butt hitting the floor, and I want you doing bare minimum 50 crunches as fast as you can. What I notice is that my abdominal musculature in particular responds well to resistance training. And what I also notice is that my fast twitch muscle fibers seem to be what is activated and what responds and what really creates the definition that can be seen through your skin. So as fast as you can, bare minimum 50. And then if you want to take it to expert level, do those 50 crunches, do 3 sets, right? But I'm going to leave it up to you. You have to do bare minimum 50 as fast as you can, right before bed and right when you wake up in the morning. If you do that for between 6 to 8 weeks, depending on how much body fat you have right now on your stomach, I guarantee you are going to see incredible results, and I want to hear about them. Hit me up in the comments and let me know how it's going for you. If this video helped you, I'd like to hear about that too. If there's something that I forgot to talk about, or maybe you'd like me to elaborate on a little bit more, let me know. If you're into this kind of thing, I ask that you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Be well.